Hello, everyone. This is Jim McCormick, and for week 9, our second week of PowerPoint, I'm going to go over a few things to help you out with the presentation you have to do this week. A lot of this is going to be a continuation from last week in terms of creating slides, doing transitions, etc., putting text, changing up your layout of your slides. This week, we'll emphasis on doing some animation effects on your slides, which can help to create a little more wow factor for your slides and your presentation as you go through it. Also, the idea of using smart art shapes. So smart art shapes are ways to give your slides a little different look. They allow you to put in text and have that text kind of stand out a little bit more, especially if you have a list of information to provide or some other maybe sequential links of information you want to provide on your slide. A smart art object can be a nice way to go. And also word art. Word art is a nice option for go ahead again and dressing up your slides, making your title stand out a little more. So again, this is some different elements to really provide some extra formatting elements to your slides and to make it stand out a little bit more as you're presenting a presentation to a group of people or some other audience that you're doing your PowerPoint for. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my PowerPoint, and we'll go through some of these tasks that you'll be doing this week on your assignment. I'm going to go ahead and just save my presentation so I get that out of the way. And I'm just going to throw it on my desktop. And I've got my handy dandy D132 folder I'll put it in. And I'm going to call this Week 9 Demonstration. Always a good thing to do to as soon as you get into a file of any sort of program, go ahead and give it initial save so you get that all set up and squared away. All right, so just like last week, let's start off applying a theme to our slides. We've got that taken care of, so I'll click on the design button, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply. And now I'm going to put in a title for this first title slide, and I'm going to call this demonstration on PowerPoint. Oops, spelled that wrong. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little animation to the slide, to this title actually. So to do this, I want to go ahead and I'm going to select first of all the object I want to animate, which is going to be this actual title on this first slide. So once I click in that box, I basically have it selected. Now I'm going to go to animations. And I'm going to click on Custom Animation. And since I have this object or element selected on my slide, I'm going to go ahead and the way this works, you get this little task pane on the right-hand side, Custom Animation task pane. So it basically tells you down this little box, you got select an element on the slide, and then click the Add Effect to add your animation you want for that element. So I'm going to click on Add Effects. And we have different effects here we can choose from. How we want this element to enter the slide. Do we want to emphasize it somehow with what happens to it once it's actually the slide is presented? How we want it to exit? Or you can go ahead and create some motion paths how it actually will come onto the slide. So some different options here how you can animate an object on your slide. I'm going to go ahead and I'll do the entrance one here. And I'm just going to go with a blinds option. So it's going to give you an option or a look at how it's going to happen. All right, and to really test this out then, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click back in animations. I'm just going to go ahead and choose a way for the slide to actually transition on. So I'll go with the checkerboard. All right, so I've applied a checkerboard slide transition and also an animation effect to this title, Demonstration on PowerPoint. So the way you can really check this out is then go into View and go into your slideshow option. And we'll take a look. So this should transition with a checkerboard. So it just happened. Now, I don't have my title line yet, so when you're doing this, you're going to have to go ahead and click the Advanced button on your keyboard, which again will be the right arrow button as a way to do that, and now I'll bring my title into play. So I had a slide transition take place, and also animation effect take place with my title on this title slide. So on the assignment this week, you want to, besides doing transitions between all your slides, you want to make sure you put in some animation effects throughout your 5 to 8 slides you'll be producing for your presentation this week. So I'm going to exit out of slide view, go back into my normal view. All right, so I've got a lot taken care of with my first slide. So now I'm going to click on my home tab. I'm going to insert another slide. And right now, this is a basic content slide. So I've got a title area, a label up there for my title, and also can add text or other elements down on my main portion of my slide. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click in here. I'm going to select that area. I'm just going to delete it. So what I'm going to do for a title is I'm going to get basically a word art title up here. So I'm going to delete that area. I'm going to create actually a word art title that I'll drag up in here. So to do this, I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go over to where it says Word Art. So Word Art just gives you some flexibility with how, especially with titles, if you want your title to stand out a little bit more as you create them. And so I'm going to try to find one that would maybe match the theme I've got pretty well in this presentation so far. So I think this one looks pretty good, so I'm going to click on that. So basically you get a text box down below or the main portion of your slide. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and just type in the text that I want for this. So I'm going to say creating slides is fun. And I can go ahead and drag this up to the title area of the slide. All right. So I've used some word art now to actually create a title for my slide. So you can see it gives it a little more pizzazz, a little more color, a little more depth to that title. Certainly, as you work with a word art object like this, you click on the Format tab. You can go and really do some different things with this in terms of how you want it to look, the outline, the colored shapes of it, etc. So whenever you got these objects, these titles selected, or any object in PowerPoint selected or any program, when you go to that Format tab, it really allows you to go ahead and put in some nice other little highlights to that object if you want to. So you can see we've got a whole slew of things we can do with this if we wanted to. So be aware of that and certainly make use of it as you want. So right now I'm playing around with the text fill of what the color of those letters going to be. So I'm going to maybe darken it up a little bit. So now it's got a little darker color to it. So again, a lot of flexibility as you create a word art title or bullet or whatever you want to do on your slide. So it's a lot of fun. And again, I think for those of you that are very creative, you can really really put together some really nice looking, colorful slides that will not only get the information across, but also be pleasing to look at. So that's always the thing you want to strive for, I think. All right, I'm going to put a slide transition in on this one. And I'll go left to right. All right, I'm not going to animate this object. But now down below, I'm going to put in some smart art. So smart art is, again, shapes that you can utilize on your slides to put in some text. And again, it's a way to really make your information stand out for those that are looking at your presentation. So again, I'm going to click on Insert. And right here, we got our smart art button. So again, it's basically a way to create or allow graphics to help you communicate the text information that you want to present on your slides. So here we got a lot of different options here. And on the left-hand side, you can kind of look at the subsets of these smart art objects and how they're going to be, which ones you could actually maybe leverage and use if you want to. So again, lots of different choices that you can choose from based on what you want to try to present on your slides. I'm kind of just going through and showing you the different categories of smart art objects that are available to you. And certainly there's a lot of flexibility here for which ones maybe you want to choose and which ones maybe make sense for the information that you're trying to get across to your audience. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to click on the basic pyramid. So this it gives you a little explanation when you choose an object, you know, what's really good for. So I'm going to click OK. And here we got some text placeholders, so I'm going to just type in some text. And just putting down some basic pointers that maybe you'd want to keep in mind as you create PowerPoint presentations. And so these are principles that I always try to guide by, or certainly go by when I create my PowerPoint presentations. Being succinct, I talked about this last week, don't have too much text on your slides. Basic idea or premise in mind, what's the message you're trying to get across in your PowerPoint presentations? That's always something that you want to always be thinking about as you create your presentation. And don't overdo, whoops, I actually spelled overdo wrong. So I'm going to redo that word. Let's say don't overuse the animation effects. All right. I've got this smart art object selected, so I could do animation effect on this if I want to as well. Let's say I'm going to do this as an emphasis one. So again, just kind of something that maybe catch someone's eye, and I've already got animation effect in this one. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my presentation, see how it's looking so far. So again, I'm going to click on my View tab, click on my Slideshow, click on my checkerboard, slide transition, title comes into play. Next one comes through as a transition, and my animation effect now is to emphasize this. So just made it bigger. So if this is something, these 3 points were really something I really wanted to put across in my presentation, this might be a good effect, the emphasis effect, where it increases in size my smart art shape that I've got my points on. So I'm going to escape out of that, get back to my normal view for working on my PowerPoint presentation. So again, some really neat things that you can utilize and work on with your presentation this week. And again, just keep in mind you want to do some transitions between each slide. You don't have to animate every different object on your slides, whether it's your titles, your bullets, your smart object, or whatever. But try to animate a few things at least to show your instructor that you're able to utilize that skill. Make sure you use at least one word art object. And again, word art works really well for your titles on a slide. Certainly you can use it elsewhere in your slides if you want to. On your bullet points, you don't have much text, so you can really maybe emphasize particular bullet points if you want to using your word art. So again, have fun this week, and I don't think you guys should have too much trouble with getting the presentations done for your travel project, which is what the assignment is based off of. So have fun. If you have any questions throughout the week, you certainly want to contact your instructor for your section. And I hope you have a good week 9. And this is again Jim McCormick, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.
Archive recording.